You're going to get a little bit more than grounded in this. All because of what happened, and I had nothing to do with it. But I am the one that is suffering. But I am the one that is suffering. So she immediately, right on Jack and Lily's back, she tramps. I have nothing to do with whatever it is that happened to Jack and Lily. Those are Malaya's kids. They're not my grandchildren, and it's affecting me, and you need to feel sorry for me. That's what she's saying. You're disgusting. What a poor excuse for a human being Janie is. Jesus Christ, there's so many lessons in this. You could even add this book to the Bible. They don't know where they are. Let's see, my grandchild, my oldest, and I couldn't even see her, all because of what happened, and I had nothing to do with it. But I am the one that is suffering. But I am the one that is suffering. Oh, and so is Jack and Lily. Again, she prioritizes herself ahead of Jack and Lily. That's the third time in this short little segment that she's had to walk back the harshness of her statements by adding Jack and Lily to the end. Like, how many more of these red flags do you need to run into before you start saying enough is enough here? You've seen enough. This bitch is evil. She's a demon. They don't know where they are. They don't know what's going on. Well, Meadow doesn't know what's going on, and my other two grandchildren don't know what's going on. I watched my oldest two grandchildren play with those kids. Those kids. She keeps referring to Jack and Lily as different than her biological grandchildren. That's just like Daniel appealing to the world, saying, I have kids too. Oh, dear. Yes, you can have that. There's nothing left. I watched my oldest two grandchildren play with those kids for the last 2 years. And now they don't even know what's happening. They don't know what happened to Jack and Lily. They don't know where they are. It's not about me. It's about, I'm worried about my grandchildren. Again, priorities. What impact this is having on them. I can recover from this. It's going to take me a long time. What a thing to say. What a thing to say. We don't know where Jack and Lily are, but Janie's already talking about being on the mend. Oh my God, thank God. She's already gotten over it. She got over it within the hour. And then decided to carry on with the cover up. Grab a rake. Let's level out some ground. I can recover from this. It's going to take me a long time. But just think of what the impact has on my grandchildren and Jack and Lily. How much it's hurting them. What is it she keeps referring to? What is it she's referring to exactly? Again, what is this thing you keep referring to that's harming you and your family? And how is it everybody else's fault? We need to consider how that affects you, as opposed to you worrying about your own ass. Because it all happened right next to your old nasty trailer and RV. That fucking thing. I hope people burn that fucking thing to the ground and put it up on YouTube. And I begged Malaya to come out and tell her side of the story, Timmy. And she's the only one that can answer the questions that we can't. I begged her to come out and talk for the sake of the grandchildren and the sake of her children. Again, priorities. You guys put yourself in my shoes and see how you would feel. See how she loves to do that shit? We don't need to do that anymore, Janie. We've had enough. You mean your prison flip-flops? Put yourself in Janie's prison flip-flops and see how you guys would feel. You would be feeling exactly the same way I am. Isn't that exactly what she told Mike the other day in her DMs? She told Mike in her DMs, and she was crying this part too. It was almost the exact same thing. You would be feeling exactly the same way I am. I'm no different than anybody else, but you are, Janie. I do have a heart. And I'm not standing up for Daniel. And I'm not standing up for Malaya. I'm standing up for myself. Yeah, we could tell. Fuck, she gives herself away. At very minimum, Janie, you're an accessory after the fact. If not guilty of having a hand in what the incident was that led to Jack or Lily. Could be very different scenarios. Who knows? We don't know yet. But it strengthens the odds of you having something to do with at least one of them, if not both. And not to mention the charges that you're going to catch for the disposing of and deciding to dispose of, and the way that you handled the corpse, and the way that you handled this incident with the RCMP and obstructing of justice and everything. Holy shit, it's going to be endless, woman. And you're worried? What exactly are you worried about? That's what the cognitive load. I'm just clarifying it for you, Janie. That's the shit that should be worrying you. And I believe it really is, no matter what it comes out of your mouth. Okay? You come across as stupid and ignorant and hopeful of people picking up your nonsense story. You've had ample opportunity to add context and really figure things out along the way, and you guys utterly refuse to be cooperative into whatever it is that happened. Focus primarily on yourselves. Plus a whole lot more. I begged her to come out and talk for the sake of the grandchildren and for the sake of her children. You guys put yourself in my shoes. Well, look what happened when Malaya started coming out. They got just enough to put your son up on SA charges. Forcible confinement. Imagine what else is going to come along down the line. I don't think that's going to be the end of your court troubles. And guess what? Here's a big secret. Yeah, it all has something to do with what happened to Jack and Lily. No matter how they're going to phrase it. Do you know why? Because you were looking after two children who are now missing and presumed dead. And you're caught with your pants down 10 months into a bullshit story. That's not just slightly off. The whole thing is off. You guys put yourself in Janie's shoes and see how you would feel. You would be feeling exactly the same way I am, she says. Well, you just answered your own question. Why would you even bring it up if you know how somebody else would feel? It's not like you've considered it. I'm no different than anybody else. But that's bullshit, Janie. Janie, you were a grandmother to these children a few minutes ago. You lived in the RV in the driveway of the trailer in the middle of nowhere that these kids lived with nobody else around for miles. That's completely different than everybody else. You're a suspect in all of this. Do you understand that? Janie says, I do have a heart, and I'm not standing up for Daniel, And I'm not standing up for Malaya. I'm standing up for myself. I told you everything that I know, and I told the truth. If you want to give me a Bible and swear on it, I will. And besides, what would I have to gain by doing something to Lily and Jack? And it breaks my heart. I can't see my grandchildren. It breaks my heart because I don't know where Lily and Jack are. And look at poor Meadow, what she's going through. She has no parents that are together anymore. You guys just don't understand. I wish you were on the fence. That takes up a lot of time on their Thursday. The fact is that he doesn't want to fill it in. He was around, but he doesn't want to be telling anybody what it was he was doing, including what time he came to bed. Janie IDs him out in the yard, helping her with the fence all night long. So there's a big portion of that evening he doesn't want to say what it was he was doing to begin with. So at what point did you talk to Malaya then and tell her that you were going to stay up and do the cleaning for her? She mentioned that in the paperwork, Danny, at the time. Wonder what that was all about. See, there's other things occurring within the confines of that house. And none of it was good. They weren't carrying on like a normal day or a day in which they weren't fighting or arguing, or he wasn't trying to control the fuck out of her. Because what is the next steps past all of this scenario? So you've got all your friends blocked. You're tracking each other's phones. You're blocking her from talking from her mom on the phone from time to time. So obviously there is some problems. And I would hypothesize that it has to do with the shitty living conditions you have them all living in that wretched trailer with your asshole grandmother. It's putting a strain on the relationship, not to mention all the lack of finances. Cody's not sending through child support to live off of. So there's the kids' money, the monthly child tax benefit. That was ending at April 30th. That was a priority. So it tells us that Daniel wasn't at that point in time doing anything about it. That just didn't happen overnight. His entire attitude was more of financial isolation than it was anything else. Just how far were you going to take this? How far were you going to take this new relationship of yours? Were you just going to end up locking Malaya in a closet? What's up, Nasty?
Interested in giving us is the side that should be the only one. You can call it number 3, or you could call it also side number 1 and eliminate the others. And that would be the only truth. She doesn't want to give us the truth. She refuses to do that. What she is offering is side number 2 to the story. There are 2 sides to a story. I don't want the story, Janie. Don't you understand that my analysis pleads being the shortcut to zoom right in? You're giving away what happened. And maybe you have whatever they call ADHD or whatever the hell it is, that you can't sit down and you're unable to concentrate and you're only able to, talk whatever is on your mind right now. Unable to listen. There are people like that. Maybe you're one of those. It could really, really be. But that way you're never going to learn. You're always going to be surprised, because I can tell you one thing. If you stick with me and learn a little bit, you're going to realize that we got you. And the only way out for you is to tell the whole truth. Because you know what? Daniel is going to fry. They're going to, it's going to end very, very badly, Janie. Don't make Daniel pay for your inability to comprehend and your unwillingness to get better at it.
Why? Because she knows what's going on.
So do you.
And she's going to bring Daniel down as much as she can.
She also protected him from the beginning, right? She protected him from the CPS. She didn't protect Jack and Lily.
Because if she goes down, she doesn't want Daniel to have Meadow.
If she goes down, she doesn't want Daniel to have Meadow.
That would never even be a consideration, Janie. Again, another very weak assertion on your part. Sorry. Sorry, bitch. Sorry, biatch. Where's my buzzer? Let's see. Janie, a reading. Listen to this. I've been telling everybody from the start of this, I had no involvement in the disappearances of Jack and Lily. I gave the investigators the same story that I'm telling you guys. I did not have anything to do with what Malaya, if Daniel, has said or done. Interesting. I've been holding this in for 2 months until Thursday when I gave my interview. The reason why I've been doing this is the investigators advised me not to speak to anybody because of their investigation. But it's been over 2 months now. I find the investigators are not telling us anything. Why would they? They put... What? They put only one report out since all this happened. They are not giving us any updates. I'm tired. I can't deal with this because they are all keeping stuff to themselves, which the public should know. Well, it's interesting that she's saying that at this point, isn't it? See, this is her acting as though she's got the same concerns as all of you out there. I'm tired. I can't deal with this because just a second ago I thought you can't deal with the YouTubers. Well, which is it there, honey? I'm tired. I can't deal with this because they are keeping stuff to themselves, meaning the RCMP, which the public should know. We should know what is happening. I don't believe Malaya took that picture. I believe it was a drone. The same drone that took the picture of the property. I wasn't around when it happened, but I'm believing it was a drone that took that picture of Daniel and Justin on the ATV. There is something else I have to clear up about the ATV. The ATV has not been on this property in the last 5 years or so because my neighbor, which I'm not going to mention, is known for stealing property. Oh, shout out Bradley Wong. Shout out. So listen to how stupid this sounds. There is something else that I have to clear up about the ATV. The ATV has not been on the property in the last 5 years or so. I already think she's lying. I already suspect a lie. Why are you telling me about your ATV, your own personal ATV, and the fact that you don't keep your own personal ATV at your own house, but somewhere else? Because you're afraid of it getting stolen? That's so hard to believe. Ever heard of insurance? Probably not. I wasn't around when it happened. Let's see. I don't believe Malaya took that picture. Okay, so there's something else I have to clear up. The ATV has not been on this property in the last 5 years or so because my neighbor, Bradley Wong, the dude who was telling the cops all about the vehicular activity from their property on Garlock Road from the hours of midnight to 4 a.m. on May 1st into May 2nd. That guy. The ATV has not been on this property in the last 5 years or so because my neighbor, Bradley Wong, which I'm not going to mention, is known for stealing property. And that was one thing that I did not want. I did not want him to take. And I also want to mention, too, someone I can't tell you who. Just like the RCMP couldn't tell Daniel about who was bringing threats towards his life and these fake death threats that he was talking about in the CBC. What a fool. Even the CBC are smarter than that. You can't get that one by them. And I also want to mention, too, someone I can't tell you who has broken in when Daniel and I were away, has broken into her trailer and have taken a few things. Well, just a few things. They're just stopped by shopping. Oh, interesting. I'm not going to say what they are, but they've taken a few things. It's all been reported to the investigators. And yes, we still have drones that fly over our place. It's usually Friday and Saturday nights mostly. So if the people out there that are flying the drones, if you like to watch a 60-year-old woman get busy with all of her sex toys in an RV on a Friday and Saturday night and have nothing better to do, you go ahead. Man, what a crazy old broad.
I have more than enough.
You guys. Because you guys just made a mock.
Thursday night, and still you wouldn't answer me. You would still avoid